If this world were mine, I'd place at your feet all that I own. Feels so good to me. If this world were mine. That's the song that's in my head. That's the song. Oh, this shit is bright as fuck. I don't know how people be doing these ring lights. God, yeah, maybe that's just been sitting in a dimmer light. Oh, and they show all of my. I just woke up. It probably got cold in my eyes. I ain't just woke up. It's in the middle of the night. I ain't got out of bed. That's really what happened. But, anyways, coming to you with the reading today. And I'm a little, yeah, like I'm feeling the energy of lighting up. I'm seeing it on the screen. Like, I'm feeling like there's this seriousness that, we tend to take on. And this seriousness is based on an illusion of what we think we have to be accepted as whatever we've claimed or labeled ourselves as, like in our careers. Like if you're on a job and you want to acclimate to the job culture, right? That's the consensus. And then so you go to work and they tell you there's a dress code. You can't wear this, you have to wear this. And so instantly you are now acclimating to the culture. And if you choose to go against that, then you will be more than likely reprimanded. However, it's the same in this system, in society. There is a group think, a collective structure, so to speak. And those of us who rebel or naturally rebel against the status quo, we are the ones walking in with not wearing the clothes of the dress code. And so there's a way that you're seen now because you're not an NPC. You're not doing what they want you to do. Because why? Like, why are we dressing like this? Why can't I wear this? Why can't I have individuality? Does that threaten your system if I have individuality? If my individuality threatens your system and it doesn't help to bring forth a community value in the system, like my individuality should contribute to the overall wealth of the community itself. My my individuality should not be seen in a way that, oh, you're selfish or arrogant or you're not a part of this. It shouldn't be seen as that, because my unique gift is my unique gift, and it is a gift for a reason. Like, it's something that is a puzzle piece to the whole, right? And when we begin to honor that in ourselves and others, then we see a new culture being accepted. And it's not a culture of just one way of being. There seems to be this mass consensus, or like this mass mission for instance, people of color. Like, and this is not to shame people for wanting this, and I understand what the desire is. However, it's flawed in its premise, and I'll tell you why. But first, I'll say that we tend to want every one of us to be alike. We want, and we're transitioning from this. And those of you watching this video, I feel like you see things slightly different from this, but there has been a point where you've been aware of this in your being or in those around you, of the want to be just alike, to create a culture in, for instance, America, right? It's known, or it's said that Black Americans do not, that lack culture because of it being taken from us or removed from us or things like that. It's slowly but surely tilting downward. As long as you can hear what I'm saying. But here, let's do that. Still going down. I'm going down. 'Cause you ain't around, baby. My whole world's upside down. Such an interesting song that's coming to my head compared to what was in the beginning. Still about a world though, creation. So that's how I know it's a channel, because I don't even remember the first song I sang, but I remember the feeling about it being about creating a world or something. So I have to know it when I run the video back. But that relates. It's the world that we want to create in America as a black melanated beings, indigenous beings are now recognizing that we have more power. So we're coming out of that space, but there's still, I still see it. I still observe that people have this idea that we should all be alike, and if we're not, then we're not accepted. And so the whole not like us, I get the deeper meaning behind it, but some people on the surface level have used it to separate and divide and say, oh, you're not like us. And in the grand of it, no, it's talking about a very specific group think, and it is talking about the oppressive culture, right? That those are the beings that's not like us. So that's the truth in it. We're not the same, right? But in the grand of it, right, what you people are going to use knowledge and wisdom for different things. They're going to use it to their advantage, and that's what's done with religion. That's what's being done with, a lot of the things that people take as their god, take as their, their source of knowledge, that they take as their life rules, like some kind of manual, like this is the way that life should work, this is the way that you should live. And it's like, nah, bitch, sit down, okay? I don't need to be like you. I don't need to do what you do. Okay, I am me, and what I do is who I am, and what I choose to do tomorrow is who I am then. But we're not gonna worry about that. We're gonna worry about what I'm doing right now, what I'm doing and being, and who I'm being right now is where my power is, right? And so if I'm over here criticizing someone for being who they are because they're not like me, then what does that say about me? Right? And so we have a lot of that energy that you've been dealing with, and you have overcome this energy. You are a person that has overcome this energy to the max. Like, you've really come into a space where, oh goodness, Grace Spirit, help me with the words to say. You've come into a space where things are being revealed to you, where you got your team got your back, you are protected, you are loved, you are supported, and you are being embraced and hugged by the divine in so many ways, because of the work that you've been doing, and the work that your ancestors have done, and the work that your consciousness has done leading up to this point, the work you've done on the other side. Like, I'm telling you, there's so many things that give you the access and the grace that you have in this lifetime that you're not even aware of, and that you're so scared to tap into. It's almost like you're scared to touch it, right? And there's this tendency to shrink into what society's world is, right? What they see, and as what they see for us, and we box ourselves and we label ourselves. We don't have to do that anymore. The time is not to do that. Actually, you're not going to be rewarded for that. You're actually going to see a decline in views, a decline in structure, a decline in relationships when you go in that direction. When you try to fit yourself in a box, it never works. Find yourself, free yourself from those boxes, and you will see that that's where your blessings are. Your blessings will be found outside of the box. Now, you're going to have blessings in the box too, right? But in the box, your blessings come from serving, right? Your blessings come from who you're serving. When you're outside of the box, your who you're reaching, who you're meeting is grander, right? Who you're touching is grander. What you're touching is grander, right? And you still get to you still get to play inside the box if you want to. Like it's not a you should or shouldn't or anything like that. So that's kind of what the energy, what I've been guided to share, what the energy is saying before I pull these cards out. I'll always like to, just tap in before I read, see what the cards are saying. But that is definitely what the consensus is, the alignment for sure. So give me a moment. Oh, there is just, man, oh, this feels such coolness. Like, bro, like, there be so many spirits around me, man. And they're loving spirits and they're loving beings, and they speak to the beings of others, to the spiritual guides and the beings, the guardians and the guides of others in ways that sometimes I'll never really be conscious of, right? Sometimes people tell me that the things that my higher self has said to them, or like in dreams and things like that, man, I'm like, wow, I mean, that's accurate, but I didn't say before I went to sleep that I'm going to go in such and such a dream. That's not what happened. It's just, there's so much that we don't understand about what's behind the veil and the work that's being done. And, man, this human stuff is heavy. Like, it's really heavy. Look at the moon. Intuition and emotional healing. That's actually what I was just talking about. Because, like, our emotions carry such weight, especially when we interpret things from a group think and it's not from our inner guidance. So sometimes how we feel is fed by what's outside of us, by what we think we should feel about a thing. And sometimes we may not feel something about something, and then we create a feeling about it because we don't feel something. Like, you didn't feel anything. That means that didn't align with you. It didn't match. There was something else. You weren't awakened to that thing because that's not something that was a message to your DNA. It wasn't something that needed to come into your awareness, right? So you didn't feel anything. So there's no connection to it. It's actually might be a part of the chaos of the creation that do have something to do with you, but that particular thing was not something for you to focus on. So you didn't get the feeling connected to it. But then because you observe, or somebody has happened to make you, or you observe that maybe you think you're supposed to feel this way about something. Maybe you think you're supposed to grieve or feel bad about this thing, or feel upset or be angered by this thing. And then people are on social media saying, you should be angry. Why aren't you angry? Why aren't you outraged? And you're like, well, I mean, that's not what my focus is. And my focus is on something that is different. And my different is going to address what needs to be addressed. If everybody's focused on this particular thing, then who's going to be focused on that? So if everybody takes their emotional energy away from their particular, the things that stand close to them or that they're aligned with, what does that mean? Like, what does that benefit you? Like, I'm supposed to be outraged about this thing, but there's a million other things going on. And so we don't think about it like that, though. We're not thinking in that logic, and that's where it could come in, like the logic, right? It's like, think about it, just really, when you really think about it. And that's where you can align it with your heart space, because you're like, okay, I don't feel a connection to this thing, yet everyone else feels this connection to this thing that I'm observing, and I feel like maybe I should. Maybe something's wrong with me because I don't feel this way. Oh, now you feel guilty. Now you feel ashamed for the way that you don't feel. And sometimes it's the opposite. It's that you do feel a way about something and you actually feel strongly about it. And there's a reason you feel strongly about it. But then people dismiss your feelings. They're like, why do you feel that way? You shouldn't feel that way, right? And so there's what happens is your body and your mind is recording these feelings that are more they're recording these emotions, right, that are perceived from your feelings. So now your perception and your belief about this feeling is now strong within you, and now your perception of this belief is now become part of your cellular structure. And now your body's responding as if there's a foreign thing to it. And now it's starting to attack itself, right? It's starting to attack you because this belief doesn't match what you actually feel. But now it's acclimating, right? And so eventually it will become a part of your structure. And until you cleanse and release it, it will be like it's like an implant. It's like it's not supposed to be there, but it's there, and your body ends up adjusting to its function. And so now you're starting to function with this particular thing, a part of you that wasn't a part of you before. And so now your body is adjusting for your safety to still allow you to survive while holding on to this thought system, right? Holding on to these emotions, holding on to these feelings. And so now you're triggered and your body is having this response when you face this stimuli who is really just an illusion, right? And so the moon signifies what is hidden. And so it's telling you to tap into and then the crazy part is, okay, the woman is pregnant, right? And it looks like her mother, like it's almost like a healing the mother wound. And my favorite number 23 is on here. And it has the moon on the daughter and who's pregnant. And there's like, I mean, someone could be, oh God, someone is could be very fertile right now, and that fertility could be that there's new projects unfolding, or it could be a literal pregnancy, right? And so this just signifies you tapping in, using your intuition to guide you through those emotional wounds, right? And they're going to come up from the shadows when you're ready to face them. And so if you've stated like, hey, I'm ready to face these things, and you set out, you started doing the work and you started doing these things, spirit is going to protect you from yourself. And there's going to be a situation you're going to just be like, you know what, I know that who I am is this, and who I was is no longer who I am. And there's there's an underlining understanding of you've always been who you've always been. You've just not known it, right? And so you're using your intuition to guide you through as these things come up, as you face these different triggers. You know, they're hard for you. Like, I mean, I was having the craziest emotional breakdown at one point. And then at another point, I thought I was healed from certain aspects, and then I just get this extreme anxiety and my body is like responding, and I'm like really feeling, thankfully at this time I felt safe, like people actually cared about what was happening in my body, right? People actually cared about what was happening. But now uh in my past, I've had these same anxieties and people have dismissed them or criticized them. And when you have people that you feel love you, that you think are supposed to love you that criticize you instead of embracing you or trying to understand you. They are committed to misunderstanding you. They're committed to having their opinion of you. They're committed to having their own ideas of you. They're committed to this, okay? And that has made you feel another feeling that you've taken on in your body. And in this feeling, it's come in the form of now you feel like your emotions are not honored or that they don't matter. And so if you feel like they don't matter, then what has happened is that now you've come into a place where you actually have to make them matter. There's a friend that she's been saying, and just been saying it a lot, is don't matter till you make it matter. And it's like, yeah, for the longest you've made things matter that didn't have to matter. And so now you're facing what you made matter, and now you're having to make those things not matter, but you're having to make it a matter to make those things not matter. Right? Like, that's something you actually have to focus on, and you have to do it intuitively, because your body is in your mind is going to tell you one thing. The words in your mind are going to logically tell you one thing, or it's going to repeat back to you the programs that has been fed to you, the messaging that has been fed to you out of groupthink. Those are the things that's going to be fed to you. And so then as those things get fed to you, you come into a place of like, oh, you know what? My intuition doesn't align with what I'm feeling. It's not really accurate. This feeling that I feel is not matching my thoughts in my mind. So now you have to explore that. What is actually happening? And you are now exalted as you come into this structure, this new structure of who you are, okay? You are becoming exalted because you are a master manifester. Like, literally, the things that I feel like I'm still talking to a particular collective. I just did another video yesterday, and it definitely feels like a similar energy of frequency, that a master manifester energy. Just like, yeah, this is okay. What we got here? So becoming whole again. Yes, that's what we're doing. Dark divine, mother of creation. Okay, mother of creation. And that goes back to what I said, either like the fertility, right? Is the divine mother of creation, dark divine. And we're not, people want to, and I'm gonna look in here because this is the brand new deck of cards, but people are constantly, because of the group think, and it's false, they're criticizing and calling darkness bad, when wholeness is dark and light. Wholeness consists of both. And it's when we ignore the darkness that it comes out, and you experience it as the darkness that they are claiming as darkness. It's like you have the masculine, right? There's certain aspects of the masculine. It's necessary. Yin yang, masculine energy is necessary, but it's also the father of creation in a sense of here on earth. It's like the earth is, in essence, like, because of the physicality and the way that things move, it's more of a masculine in principle, right? Like our physical structures, but how we navigate it is a feminine perspective. It's a feminine. And so the masculine, when we're sitting here and we are denying our masculine or overly masculine, then we create the darkness, the structure in the darkness, where, and actually feminine is more aligned, but we overly have this masculine, we're overly masculine, and it becomes toxic for us. It doesn't serve us in the best ways that we can be served. And so the darkness that you're experiencing is because you've never accepted the natural darkness within you. Like, you've not accepted that this aspect of me was like, this part of me is in my DNA for a reason. This part of me, whereas when I was younger, okay, you're sensitive, you're a crybaby, you're overly sensitive, or you talk too much or whatever. Now, like that could be seen from me as a darkness, because that's something that I've taken on and taken as darkness. I've taken it, my judgment about it. Oh, I talk too much. It creates a vibration of lower emotions, where now here I am, where I actually have a gift of talking. Like, it's a gift to be able to sit here, and you don't realize it, because until you meet someone who can't hold a conversation or talk for long periods, and they're like, I wish I could, because I would love to do a podcast, or I would love to do this, I would love to do that, but I can't talk for that long. I can't even come up with thoughts. And there's nothing wrong with somebody that has that. They have something else to offer. They have another gift to offer, right? But because we take on the shadow of things, and because we're not looking at it, we suddenly are afraid of our darkness. And we're afraid of our darkness because we've been taught to be afraid of it by groupthink. And you're in the process of becoming whole again and acknowledging that darkness that lives within you and the light that lives within you, and that the light is not light without darkness. Like, the moon does not shine bright lest it be surrounded by darkness, right? If it was all light, like the light surrounding it, but this whole card was light, you wouldn't even be able to see nothing. It's the light and the dark that highlights the shadows and creates the form and allows us to see what we see. Like, it works together. And so that's why it's so important to embrace it, right? And so it's showing, like, step into your sovereignty. That's what it says here. Show your untamed and wild nature. Like, you are no longer in a space where you need to fear your power. Like, the people before us have taught us to deny our greatness as women, okay? To deny ourselves, because we've been taught that our power is evil. You know, we've been taught, but that's because of them not facing the darkness and within themselves, and wanting to have this control. And the only way to have the control is to remove the woman out of the way. So you remove this thing that's standing in your way, and now the best way to do it is to get into the minds of those around, and to tell them and give them imagery that tells them that something's wrong with them. So if they're giving us the imagery that something is wrong with this aspect of us, this part of our power, then if people now fear us, fear our power, then, oh my gosh, of course we're not going to want to use it, because we don't want to scare anybody, and now we're scared of ourselves. And now it's like, oh, whoa, because I make you uncomfortable. It's standing in your powers. Oh, because I make you uncomfortable, now you're trying to oppress me. I've literally watched it in motion. Once I came to that idea, that consensus, like, once I learned this about what oppression, how it works, and the ways that it works, and the ways that oppression, like, people, narcissistic people and oppressors. And it's very easy for you to become oppressor. Don't think that you're free from that capacity. It's easy to abuse. It's easy when you have power to abuse that power. That's why you have to be so responsible with your power once you know that you have that power. It's a greater responsibility. It really is. And It's because the more power you have, the more you're able to do with that power, and the more destruction, and also the more attrition, or what's the word, the I'm just gonna say divine, like the more divine that we can, the more divinity that we can access, right? um there is, it's on both sides, like just that power, having that power puts you in place with a lot of things. Oh my gosh, my head is itching right now. Like normally, like I just bought some stuff from the beauty supply store, and I feel like I need to put it in my hair right now. Okay, like my head is just itching suddenly, and I know it means something. Not quite sure what that means yet though. But I mean, scratching head, like curiosity, like yeah, that's crazy. It's like a curiosity of who you are is being revealed, and you're not really knowing or understanding this aspect of yourself, and it's really it's a surprise to you seeing this part of yourself, seeing you step into this version of yourself. And so as you're stepping into this version, you're seeing that um there are things that you thought you knew that you had no idea. Like you only had a concept of these things. Like it's actually the application of them is happening. And there's no need to be shameful that these things weren't healed a long time ago, because you have healed. You're just at another level of your awakening. Like you're at another level. You've reached another point. You've come back around to this point. This is the drama you want. That's interesting. So um the drama you want. Okay. So when we come here, automatically we forget. Okay, we forget who we are and our power, all that good stuff. But as a child, you still experience it. You still experience your power, and you're not very tamed with it, right? And because you don't know, it's just pure. You're just pure expression. It's like wow. And because you're so pure, the people in your life, you know, who are also, who can see you, who have that within them, they see the purity, right? They're like and so they respond to you as a child. They understand that there's a purity and not ignorance and not knowing how to use your power, right? And they don't. But some people, they're so freaking stuck in a particular mentality, a dark mentality, that they actually put these dark emotions on children. Like they'll say a 1 year old is being manipulative. And I know you may say, oh, that's possible. No, it's not. The 1 year old is not trying to be manipulative. Like they're not connecting no dots to remember that if I do this, this and that. Like they're pure energy. Like literally they're responding to the energy around them. They're responding to what you give them. They're responding to the stimulus. Like they are responding to the vibration. They're not sitting here thinking about, they don't have the memory capacity at the time to sit here and think about, if I'm gonna do this, then my mommy's gonna, then this is gonna happen, and then I'm gonna make her do this. Like that is not what it is. And some people are so fucked up that they actually think that, and they put that shit on their kids. And I'm passionate about that because it was done to me. Like for the longest, like I thought that I was a troublemaker. My uncle put that shit on me. I'm like, yeah, I am a troublemaker, but I'm not a troublemaker in that way. Like I'm a troublemaker because just because I'm not gonna do what you think I should do. And if I feel like that's gonna get me in trouble, or I don't want to do that, or that doesn't feel right to me, I don't want to do that, now I'm a troublemaker. No, I have autonomy to say I do and don't want to do something. Like just because I'm a child does not mean that you can boss me around. That was how I used to think as a kid. Like I remember that, and I'm gonna get back to the drama you want. I'm gonna get back to that. But As a kid, I remember my stepdad, his mom, she wanted me to call him dad so bad. And I was like, no, I was 6 years old, right? And I remember my mom used to work at Laura Ashley at the time, and we were waiting at Lenox Mall to pick her up. And I was sitting in the car, and I was just like, I was wanting my mommy, and I was like, "Where's my mommy? Where's my mommy?" And I just remember it so vividly. Like I was sitting in the back seat, and my stepdad was sitting in the front. My stepdad's mom, she's from the Caribbean. She's very like, very matter of fact. She's sitting up front, and she's like, I'm like, Brian, I'm calling his name, and his mom is like, don't answer her, don't answer her. She need to call your dad. She need to call your dad. So I'm like, I ain't calling daddy. You know what I'm saying? It ain't my daddy. Like, my real daddy is in somewhere else, and this ain't my daddy. Like, I still had memories. I still had positive memories of my dad, even though he had left due to his, even though he had to leave due to, his drug addictions and things like that. I didn't see that as a child. All I knew is that I missed my dad, and I used to hang on his arms because he had these big muscular arms, and I remember just like hanging out on him. And that was like the fondest memory I had. That was the only memory that I could hold on to, but I knew I had a daddy, and that wasn't it. And so she tried to force me, and so for a whole hour I'm like calling his name, and I'm relentless. And I'm like calling his name, and she's like, no, you call him. And they were relentless. It was like nobody was giving in until my mama got off work. She finally got in the car. Like literally nobody gave in. And that's literally how I've lived my life. Like people, they're like dealing with people, they don't give in. Like my mom, she was not a person that gave in. Like even if she was wrong, she was not going to admit that she was wrong. She was going to dig in, and she was going to switch up the words so that she could be right. And she was going to create a memory in her mind so that whatever she said was going to match what made her right. And so whatever made her right was what she was going to stick with. And that was it, even if it was a lie. And so that was the reflection of her, and that was all a reflection of my upbringing. So this is what I brought into, but this is the drama, right? This is the drama. You may say like, oh, as a child, how could I have created this situation? When I made an agreement to come here, when you made an agreement to come here, this agreement, it looks so different than what I could describe. But the best way that I could say right now in relationship to our incarnating, because we go through this process of forgetfulness and we're coming here, we don't know who we are. If we don't know who we are, then the way that we respond to things is the way that we think we should respond to things after we're old enough to start to like take in the world and like try to mimic the world that we're in. We're now creating dramas, right? We're creating these dramas to make us know that we're alive. It's almost like cutters, people who cut, right? They have these strong emotions that they're so strong that it it makes you not be able to feel anything physically. Like it's like the emotion of it is so strong that, and it's so heavy and you can't do anything about it, that there's a desire to feel anything, just anything at all. And what's the best way to feel something is to try to physically feel it. And so if it's not drugs that you're going to, then what is the cutting? They want to feel. They're not always trying to commit suicide, but at the same time, if it happens, they wouldn't be upset about it. It would be like, oh, it was meant for me to go, right? So it's like, but they're really just trying to escape the overwhelming pain of unchecked emotions. Unchecked emotions show up as an entity that is constantly creating the dramas in our lives. And so it's like Yeah, you wanted this. You created this so that you can know who you are. So this experience that you're having has been created based on the agreements of when you came in. It's based on the agreements of what your sole purpose is, what you came here to do, what you decided that you wanted to do here, right? And so there's a series of dramas that happen, a series of chaos that happens to get you to that place. It's not going to be a series of perfection. You're not going to be all walking around in flowers everywhere and it's just going to be this utopia of euphoric, just everlasting. That's the other side, right? That's the other side. But the other side, the dichotomy and the mind fuck of being on the other side is that you don't know that you're having the experience of all of that bliss because you don't know the low. And that's the benefit of being human, is that you, because of the drama, you get to experience the bliss. Because of the lows, you get to experience the highs. If you did not know what fear was, then you would not know what love is, because it would just be, it just is, and that's what it's like on the other side. It just is, right? Until you choose to assist in the physical world, then your assistance can only go a certain, it can only go to a certain route. Like it can only, there's like the assistance from the other side, your guides and angels that's helping you, there's only so much they can inflict, affect, influence, whatever, right? Because we have free will. Weaker minds are subject to being influenced, for sure, right? However, stronger minds, people who are more, they have the greater capacity for narcissism, they've built up strong minds to the point where you can't even penetrate with an intuitive aspect, with an intuitive perspective. Like you can't even fathom it because you can't get through. Like that's the problem. Why narcissists can get so stuck in their realities is because they're stuck in the drama. They're stuck in the, it's not logical to think any other way, like that things can be any other way. So they're constantly in survival mode, constantly on defense, constantly thinking something's, they're constantly the victim, and they don't realize that. But there's a strength. And so you may have had people in your life like this, like you may have come across people in your life like this, and so as you've experienced it, you're like, okay, you know what, oh, I am no longer in this space. I'm no longer wishing to operate in this space, right? And so you're now understanding that you want to be open to integrating. You want to be open to the idea that, okay, yes, logic is necessary, but it's not the end all be all. We have to use logic to I guess, what's the word, siphon through, or like, uh, decipher. That's what I'm looking for. Decipher the messages, or decipher the experience in a way that you can actually do something with it. Like you can put it in a package, you can plan, you can create things. There are certain ways that, there's levels of things that you can use logic. You can use the masculine principle, but there's the feminine aspect that we've placed and put down and stuff down. And so now the people that I'm talking to are coming to a space where they're feminine, and whether you're male or female, your feminine is coming out. Your feminine is being asked. You're being asked for your feminine to be acknowledged, to be appreciated, to be felt, to be utilized. So this wisdom that you're feeling this feeling that you're feeling, this strength that you're feeling is real. You're coming to a place where you're really being activated to a new aspect of yourself. Like, it's really amazing. And you are becoming whole again. And there's twin flame energy here. You know, you are in contact or coming into contact with your twin flame. And the energy, you've already come into contact with the twin flame energy. It's actually helped you in your path. However, the trickster energy came along with it. And it was basically to guide you to who you're actual, like, to the vessel that can hold this energy. And it's up to you to elevate to that place. So, third time's a charm. OMG. Oh my gosh, I just realized something. And I can't even share it with you yet, because until it actually happens. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to be like, look, y'all. Remember what I was talking about with the twin flame energy? Third time's a charm. Yeah, I don't want to share that because it's still a concept I'm observing. It's something that came through, though. Like, it came through, and it came through as a download. But sometimes I want to make sure I'm just not trying to make sense of something. And that's what I came up with by trying to make sense of it. So but looking at the laws of things, the way that we set up things for ourselves is actually usually how it works. Like, when we set up rules for our life, those are rules that we set up for our lives. Like, we're literally creating our own lives. We're creating our world. That's the energy. That's what it was trying to say. That's what we're creating our world. So what other people say, even what I say, does not matter for real. So that it doesn't matter. So you make it matter. Yes, what she said. Yes. That is definitely something that I have to, I'm gonna have to keep that in my pocket for sure. It doesn't matter till you make it matter. And so your world that you're creating this whole world. You can actually sit down and visualize how you want your world to look. And right now it's scary, and it's like you don't want to have too much control, but to have a vision for your life is not having control of your life, because because you have a vision, you're setting people without a vision do perish. Like, if you have a vision for yourself, then life is going to follow that vision. But what you can't control. You can control the vision that you like put out there, but you can't control how that vision transpires or how it comes, if that makes sense. Okay. So all the pieces that okay, is there anything else that we want to share with this collective before I end this video? Is there something else oh shoot. Okay, I don't like when these mini cards come out, because it feels like there's just too much energy going on. Let me look, let's see. I mean, all of this is true, but this is a whole nother video. And so, but all of this is pretty much like having patience with yourself, patience and maturity, okay? You deserve balance, okay? You deserve that. You deserve it. And so that twin flame energy is showing up, it's coming, it's here for you to access. But you cannot lose yourself. Honor your individuality. Look at that. Drive, energy, and passion. That's what you're going to be putting in this next phase of your soul ascension. Okay, divine loyal goddess. And you're going to be loyal to your cause. Okay, you're loyal to your cause. Your soul is ascending. You are going through a restructuring right now, and love and abundance is at your feet, my darlings. So, yeah, your guides definitely want you to honor who you are individually outside of groupthink. And the only way through is inward. The only way out is through. And the only way through is in. It's going inward. It's the only way. It's the only way through. All right. Peace out, y'all.